the relationship between Vanessa and Wade Wilson was an important, albeit small part of Deadpool and Wolverine, leading to questions about why the Marvel Cinematic Universe film did not see the two on screen together for longer. Deadpool and Wolverine grossed $1.3 billion at the box office worldwide, making it one of Marvel's biggest successes in years. However, the emotional heart of the first two Deadpool movies was explored in Wade's scenes with Morena Baccarin's Vanessa. Baccarin has recently come forward with details on why this was not a major part of the latest installment. In a new interview with the Playlist's The Discourse podcast, where Morena Baccarin was promoting her new thriller Elevation alongside Anthony Mackie, she provided some details on what had changed between Deadpool 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine. She first joked about the newest installment, saying, "Yeah, I was hardly on set. That was the big difference." Following this, she went into a little more detail about the changes both behind the scenes and in front of the camera during production. The acquisition and production by Disney and Marvel made a big difference in how the new film was made. You have to remember the first film was essentially an independent, big-budget film, relatively speaking, Baccarin said. Moving over to Disney meant that things would be done the way the larger studio worked. This led to an enormous, multiverse-hopping story, rather than a smaller, more intimate relationship story. Baccarin's comments addressed the state of Disney, and how the film was planned to be a behemoth at the box office. With Deadpool and Wolverine being loaded with cameos and an enormous story that spanned the multiverse, the outlook had to be different by necessity. The resulting movie then arguably felt less like Deadpool 3, and more like the next installment in Marvel's multiverse saga. This was clearly a success for the studio, although that does come at a cost for some of the more human elements from the first two films. The character of Vanessa clearly remains important to Wade, and her character in Deadpool and Wolverine did play an important narrative purpose. The ending for Deadpool and Vanessa was an enormous contribution to the film's emotional success. While it would have been nice to see more of Morena Baccarin in the film, the role she played was thematically important and resonant. Even in a smaller role, Baccarin's performance was instrumental to the film's success. Our take on Morena Baccarin's Deadpool and Wolverine comments. Deadpool and Wolverine had just enough of Baccarin to be effective. Deadpool and Wolverine was beloved by most audiences, but unfortunately, the film was not able to be absolutely everything. The enormous size and scope of the film was satisfying and fun, but it did come at some emotional cost. I believe this led to Vanessa's role in the film having to be reduced. The heart is still there in the end, but in Marvel's enormous multiverse saga, there is less room and less time to spend on it. Fortunately, the film that resulted from Deadpool and Wolverine was incredibly satisfying.